You see they're going after Jon Stewart now?
Good. He deserves it. He deserves every bit of it.
Jon Stewart, but why? Why does Jon Stewart deserve it?
Because he's a horrible person.
You think so?
He's a disgusting person.
Really?
He is responsible for the gamification of politics.
But
he's
not
one of the
him
people,
personally.
along with very much him.
Really?
Very much him. Yes. If you look at what he did with the Daily Show, he decided that, and he went on, and then he goes on to Crossfire, right? And it was Tucker.
Right.
And that was the show where they had one. It started with Buckley, and they would always have sort of one conservative, one liberal, and they would sit down and they would debate, but they would at least have a conversation.
Right.
Jon Stewart goes on a Crossfire, blows it up, and says you shouldn't be talking to each other. We shouldn't have conversations with each other. Instead, he goes over to the Daily Show, and what does he do? You know, he's not really a political guy. He didn't come to media with any kind of political background, but what did he know? He knew talk radio and specifically sports radio. And so he turned the Daily Show
which was a pop culture show.
Right, a pop culture show originally under Craig Kilborn, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
That he turned it into essentially sports radio, but his team was the Democrats.
I mean, Jon Stewart praised Project Veritas on more than one occasion.
I think he's trying to atone. Right?
No, this was back in the day.
I think he's trying
the run of the Daily Show.
I can't give it to him. No, can't give it to him.
Relative to where we're at now, you know, his willingness to be like, look at this guy and look what he did. And now you have, you know, John Oliver, Jordan Klepper, Jim Jeffries, the most garbage trash. For sure.
My theory is that Stewart
companies
started that.
Yeah, but there's
weaponization of comedy.
There's a big difference between someone who's like, here are things that I think we should talk about, and then someone being like, hey, look at this formula we can extract from that.
Right, but think of it too this way: he changes the formula of comedy instead of
I think you're putting it on him when it's Comedy Central, when it's HBO, when it's these
to an
producers.
extent. But how many years was he the host of the Daily Show? 8 seasons or something? 9 seasons?
Was it 9? It was a long time.
It was a long time.
Yeah, it was like
really
over 10 years,
long
I'm
time.
sure.
And so he changed it from, instead of the punchline being, so the idea of, you know, like a Norm Macdonald, where the idea of a punchline is a, you know, you're I'm forgetting this phrase, but you're not giving someone their expectations, right? You're subverting expectations. You're an unexpected punchline. He took that away. He took away the punchline. And so the punchline became, look at these stupid people. They think things that are different than us.
He hosted it for 16 years.
16?
99 to 2015.
Yeah. Well, now he's come out and he said...
I didn't realize it was 2015.
He said the media is focused too heavily on Trump, acting like he's the greatest threat. We need to, you know, get back to reality. And now they're all saying,
because he did
Jon
the same
Stewart's
thing
out
to Bush
of touch.
The entire time. I'm sorry, like, I just don't buy any of the Jon Stewart, like, you know, retribution tour.
I don't know.
Because I remember.
Bill Maher,
Yeah.
Bill Maher is saying the same thing. Bill Maher is like, all of a sudden now I'm playing to a mixed audience and people are craving comedy mocking wokeness. And it's like, yes, Bill, because people who are liberal back then are still the same politically, but we watch videos of this group of unhinged psychopaths outside of Netflix, and I'm supposed to relate to that as the left?
Yeah.
Please.
Now, Jack, I would disagree with you a little bit because I believe Bush deserved a lot of criticism, and he was only getting it on Jon Stewart and some other shows. But everyone, especially early on in his presidency, loved him and adored him. But he was also one of the few people that actually criticized Obama and was actually able to break that barrier. Now, I understand your bigger point when he kind of politicized comedy and wielded it as a weapon, I think more effectively than anybody else out there. And he did it for his side, and I think you make a compelling argument about that. And I do agree with you on that point.
He's patient zero of all this. He's patient zero. This wasn't, you know, and then when Jimmy Kimmel is kind of like, you know, a great example of someone who became infected by this, right? You can go and see Jimmy Kimmel early on when he's doing, what was the game show he had with Ben Stein, and then he was on the Man Show, and then
Win Ben Stein's Money.
Win Ben Stein's Money. Yeah, he was the host. He was the host of that. Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Colbert was twisted.
And then, you know, even Colbert originally was just kind of like a parody, but then they go through this filter, they pass through this filter, they realize the weaponization of it, they realize the political power of comedy, and now you turn it on, and every single comedy host
he's the host of the Tonight Show.
I disagree. I don't think.
It starts with Stewart.
I don't think it was political.
That's pretty.
I don't think a bunch
actually.
of Democrats were like, "Wow, look how powerful this is." I think certainly there were some. What I think happened was after the Daily Show was winding down, they were like, "How do we do more of this? People love it."